What's going on, guys? Gaston right here once again, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Nikkor 5cm f1.4, a lens from 1957 with a close focusing distance of 0.45 meters. So we're going to dive deep into this lens. Let's go. Now, right off the bat, I paid $550 for this copy. This copy that you're gonna see right now is pretty much unused. And once again, Nikkor released this lens in 1957, and this one is in mint condition with all the original content. It's really rare. Now, take a look at this. It comes with this little clear plastic capsule. It came with its own brochure from back in the days. You know, amazing to find this thing with barely no full marks. This box still has the inspection card of the person that actually inspected this lens back in the days. And here we have a serial number, and once again, Nippon Kogaku, which now is Nikon. And this one is the third copy of this lens that I own. Now, take a look at this. This one, as you see, is a Leica thread mount, but you can adapt it through adapters to be used in any digital cameras. Take a look at the cap of this lens. It's just really amazing, you know, not even a single scratch marks, and I already inspected the lens. The lens is as clean as it gets. We're going to be talking about this lens today, mainly with monochrome sensors, because that's what I shoot these days. This is a lens that is very, very small, as you can see, and it has a fast aperture of f1.4. This lens has a close focusing distance of 0.45 meters, 45 centimeters. And the only thing that I could remember that is as near as close is going to be the recent Leica 50mm Summilux that also features a close focusing distance of 0.5 meter. The only difference is that this lens was released in 2023, whereas this lens was released in 1957. Also, take a look at the comparison when it comes to the size. There is one that is my preferred lens for traveling and, you know, for obvious reason, but it's also a lens that has been preferred by me for portrait photography and anything that entails 50mm period because of the character of this lens. This lens at f1.4 is going to be, you know, a little bit with low contrast, and I actually like that because it allows me to dial in the effect of my images and everything that you guys see. I use the character of the lens in what I capture as a base. Now, there is no doubt that this lens is very sharp for its age. Now, one thing that you have to keep in mind is try not to shoot towards light sources, because that's where you're going to see the contrast pretty much fall apart. Images are going to look cloudy. You know, you're going to get excessive glow, which the glow is going to take a toll in the sharpness of your images. But if you're lighting this object and you're not shooting towards the light source, this lens is going to give you pretty much both the character, a little bit of glow, and, you know, that filmy look while rendering very sharp details like this picture that you see right now. So it's really surprising because usually lenses at f1.4, they tend to be softer, but this lens at f1.4, as you can see in this image, is surprisingly sharp. Now, this lens is going to get contrasty once you pass f2.8. Now, another thing that I want to show you guys is how circular the aperture is. And this lens has a 10-bladed aperture system, as you can see right now. No matter what aperture range you're in, this lens is going to maintain its aperture very, very round. Something that I wish more lenses would actually do these days. Now, this therefore results into bokeh balls are very round, like you can see right now. And yet again, it doesn't matter, you know, how you dial your aperture, bokeh balls are going to be round. One thing that I wanted to mention about the aperture of this lens, as you can see from f1.4, has a big step to f2. And then as it goes all the way to f16, the steps are shorter, shorter, and shorter, whereas from a5.6 to f16, you know, it's pretty much one next to the other. Now, another great feature of this lens is how small it is, you know, and this one has become my go-to 50mm for M system. You know, I like light gear. Small lenses are my preferred, you know, type of lenses. And this one pretty much reunites everything. Now, it does have a little bit of heft. This lens is somewhat weighty. It's made out of brass. Now, the construction of this lens is based on a sonar optical design. I don't know of any other Leica lens this small, this fast, with a 45cm close focusing distance. And since I'm here, I want to show you today's setup for my 9 hours photo walk, Leica M11 monochrome with a Nikkor 5cm f1.4, and the strap that I have right now is the Turaflex by Alcrown in the 32 inches mode. Now this strap can go from 32 to 58 inches, and I'll show you how to adjust this. It goes really quick like so, and now it's a long strap, and the double webbing serves as a very comfortable neck pad. So right now I can wear my camera about my hip. Now, if you want to check it out, go on alcrown.com, enter code GShutters for 10% off on your next order. And if you want to make the strap short, it is that simple. You could always tuck it around the lens, and now the strap is gone. Once again, this lens is not talked about that much. I don't hear people talking about this lens, and I'm already on my third copy. The first copy, I gave it to my friend Yomiko. I got one copy for $400. This one I paid $450. And this lens, as you can see, if you can check the optics, is really clean, really nice. I sent this lens just for precaution to be CLA to DAG and return this lens, running like a brand new one. So if you go to eBay right now, you can find this lens, from around anywhere in low $400, and it goes up all the way to over $1,000. But you can get great copies for $500 and change dollars. And that is actually really remarkable. And this one is going to have a 270 degrees rotation because of that close focusing distance, and also the lens being of a small diameter. It's really, really small lens. So this lens is going to be very sharp, like I mentioned before, but it's going to be softer on the edges, something to be expected from lenses from this time. But once again, that's part of the character of this lens. And another thing that you need to know about this lens is that the moment you pick up this lens, it's really hard to put it down. And that's what happens to me when I actually acquired this lens. Honestly, I don't own any lens twice. I mean, this is the only lens that I bought it 3 times. I'm just a fan of this lens. Take a look at the character of this lens, the rendition. I consider that if you're looking to go beyond the standards of things that we see these days, with these super clinical lenses, and a lot of the times people put effect and filters in front of their lenses. They're expensive lenses. I mean, I'm guilty of doing that from time to time. But this lens renders that look. Right out of the gate, you get this with this lens, and I don't understand why this lens is not more expensive. Honestly, I don't complain, but also I don't understand why more Leica photographers talk about this lens, because this lens was made for Leica thread mount. And you can adapt it with a simple flange like this one that you can buy anywhere on the internet. And this one, it even allows you to code it. So if I paint this, I can allow the camera to recognize the 50mm f1.4. Something that I need to do, because I do a lot of these reviews, and sometimes when I need to go through images, if I don't have this built in the metadata, the information about the millimeter of the lens, sometimes it's a little bit confusing. The material of the lens is mainly brass, and it's a little bit hefty. It's a hefty lens. It is small but hefty. Now, another thing is that this lens was constructed with a single coat, and you have to be aware that when you pick up a copy, you take a look at the pictures and you ask the seller, because this type of coating, it's not that very strong. Even if you get, one with a little bit of scratch and you pay a good price, most of the time it's not going to render any effect on the final image quality. Now, talking about the filter thread on this lens is going to be a 43mm, but the type of threading that they used in this model is not I think it's the 0.5mm pitch. It's a little bit different, so you're going to have to find specific filter that is going to fit in this lens. And I haven't been able to do so, nor I kind of care much, because the lens seems to be very well protected. As you can see, it has kind of this little flange right there that protects the lens. If you're looking for that dreamy look, especially for portraiture, landscape, whatever the case may be, this lens is going to shine. Another thing is that this lens is really good for color work. Yes, this lens is going to have diffraction, chromatic aberration, field curvature, a little bit of everything, but it does it with style. I'm gonna post this image right here so you can see the amazing color that you get straight out of the lens. So this one is gonna wrap it up for me, guys, and this video has been sponsored by my company, Allcrown. You get 10% off at allcrown.com. Use code GShutter and more information down in the description. I'll see you in the next video.